for us day traders with the bearish indicators, but the market rising today, do you see a possible reversal at the end of the day or soon? Yeah, it's possible. I'm not going to call it, but of course it's possible. You're definitely, I mean, Tesla's up, what, 5-6% today. Woohoo! Not sure what you want to do with Tesla. Look, it's all green on the screen, right? Big day today. We've seen these before. And so, question is, does this really have legs? What does the VIX do? What does gold do? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why you'd be looking at steel, Ride the Pony. That's kind of an odd place to be looking. So let me just make this statement, and then I'll get into the charts that you want to see. One of the concepts at Trade With Me Now is to obviously follow the technical patterns, but go where the money is and focus where there's liquidity and make sure that you have a setup. All right, so, and Ride the Pony, this is directed at you with your comment. I don't mean this in a negative way, by the way. It's just, part of what I'm trying to teach. A lot of people want to trade narratives, or they want to trade an analyst report, or they want to trade some bias that they have. Well, when this happens, gold usually goes up. Or when this happens, doesn't it mean that'll happen? I mean, if COVID's going to shut down all the cruise lines and they, maybe we should short the cruise lines. Yeah, how did that work for those of you that did that move? Right? Lost your ass. Or how about when oil was 50 cents and people said, well, oil is at about zero. No, oh, Jesus, come here. What are you howling about? Sit down. Sit down. When oil was at like 10 cents, when oil was at zero, people said, well, oil can't go any lower. And so they bought calls on it and they bought oil and oil went negative. Anyone remember that move? And that's because you have there's a bias or there's a thought. Well, like it seems. Oh, hold on a second. Crazy wants to get in. Crazy wants to get out. Japanese company buying U.S. steel has been approved. No, that one was that was Dweezil. That was Juju. So what, Ride the Pony? And I mean this with love and respect. And it's a phrase I've used forever. And Michael is probably the first person I used it on. You're not the only idiot that thought of that. So now take that the right way. Michael will probably comment in a second because I've been saying that for 5. And I include myself in the idiots, right? As soon as you have a narrative, well, it seems like Japanese companies buying U.S. steel, that's been approved, so maybe we should buy steel, right? You're not the only idiot that thought of that. And the markets just don't work that way. They're not logical. You'll pile into the trade, and it'll go down to 8%. And everyone go, gee, I can't understand why it went down 8%. I would have thought, Yeah, you would have thought, right? Yeah, you would have thought. Now, can you take little trades, here and there, based on narratives and things like that? Sure, you can do that. And I'll look at the chart. But I just don't want any of you to get caught up in, I remember when Tesla was coming out with a battery. This was going to be like the battery where you could, charge up your car and woo, it was called Battery Day. Yeah. And you know what we did? We bought Tesla. We bought long calls, we bought butterflies, we bought verticals the week before. Woo! That was fun. And we sold it on Monday, all of it, because Battery Day was Tuesday. And Tesla opened up 7% down. 7% down on Battery Day. So I just don't want you guys looking at charts and news and thinking that you're going to be cute and outsmart the market, because there are analysts that are paid $10 million a year to have the answers and to hide them from you and to trade against you. You know who's going to be selling you Ride the Pony? You know who's going to be selling you steel? Who's going to be selling you X? The hedge fund that's dumping it. Because they have the power, the algos, the analysts, and the narrative on their side. My point is, try to stick with what moves the markets and what has the greatest chance, the greatest liquidity, that has the best setup. If you look at the trades, just go back 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days of my alerts. Just go back and check the alerts. 75 to 80% win rate. Why? Because I'm such a genius. I stick to the charts. And I trade the SPY. And I trade IWM. And I'll do a little bit of NVIDIA and Apple, because that's where the action is. Right? So can I take a flyer on a sector? Sure. Sectors that relate to my internals. Gold off of the dollar, right? Real estate like IYR. Home builders like XHB off of yields, right? The VIX strongly, almost 100% algorithmically works for and against the big caps, the mega cap stocks. That's Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, NVIDIA, almost 100%. If I can learn to read this, I can trade this. If I can learn to read this, I can trade this. If I can learn to read this, I can trade gold, silver, palladium, platinum, copper. So the rest is just, taking a flyer. The rest is bias, your bias on what you heard in the news.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.